Tori, I guess you weren't here last week.
I wasn't, been out of town 2 weeks, sorry.
Well, to refresh you from last week, I talked about our public education system and its history. So to refresh you a little bit on that, it kind of started at 1852. The first state was enacting laws which made it mandatory for children to go through school. And at that time, we were just starting the industrial age. And now we have moved on to the informational age or computer age. For the past 2 decades, we've been kind of transitioning over. And so we need to start thinking about that. And taking kind of that history one step further, how many of you have heard of the old saying, go to school, get good grades, and get a good job? And I'm sure that you all, I wasn't taught that. Maybe it's because I wasn't paying attention in high school, but we didn't really talk about that very much in school. But yet, most people are still living in that kind of model, which was created for the industrial age. So, I'll give you an example right now, a personal story of a man who was, about a year ago, let go from his job. And he was simply dismissed. The company was downsized. Like me, my uncle, he is always continuously learning new material for his field. He is continuously growing in his field. And he is very good at what he does. He usually ranks up fast within new companies that he goes into. And he's, like I said, he's very good at what he does. So the point being is that he was downsized, and this happens everywhere around the world. With the global marketplace today, people are outsourcing like crazy, obviously to find cheaper work and all of this. So his company, there was probably about 5 or 6 people who were let go from his company. And like I said, it's my uncle. And nevertheless, he knew somebody who worked at a different company, and he was fortunate, and he found a new job after 2 weeks of leaving that company. While his other coworkers, they struggled for about 2 months looking for a job. And so this is what's happening now. Jobs are no longer safe. So that old saying, go to school, get good grades, get a good job, get a degree, go to college, get good grades, get a job. That's no longer safe anymore. And if you look at the statistics, some say 14, some say 15 careers or jobs within our first 40 years of our lifetime. And this is what's happening now, and this is because of the informational age and the shift. Let me explain to you a little bit about what happens while we go through school. And there's a test conducted called the divergent thinking test. This particular test allows you a thinking process. It's a thinking process that allows you to think of multiple solutions to a problem. And I'll give you an example here. All we have are simply boxes. I don't know if you guys can see that over there, but one thing that you could be asked to do is think of many different possible solutions or ways that you could use these boxes. So you can come over here and you can stack boxes up on top of each other, put them in different ways, and all of this. But that's not very interesting. But divergent thinking allows you to, and also I think it would also be called geniosity, but it allows you to kind of expand outside of the box and think of other ways. I mean, you could disassemble boxes, make different shapes, especially if you are familiar with geometric shapes and symbols, and you could deconstruct boxes. You can put some inside of boxes like this, and you could even add boxes, because nobody said you couldn't add anything to it. So you could add different shapes. You could add dice. Those are boxes. You could do all kinds of different things with this. And this particular study, so that now you know what divergent thinking is, this particular study was conducted in a book called Breakpoint Beyond. 1,600 kindergartners was tested, and they call this the genius level. And you know children, I mean, they could do all kinds of stuff with their minds and imaginations. So, kindergartners, would anybody like to guess how many tested at genius level? It was 98% genius. And the same exact children, 1,600 children, at ages 13 to 15 were given the test. And the results were 32%. There was another age group, actually, it was in there, but 98% and then 32%, and the next group was 10%. 10%. So you can see that our level of geniosity going through school diminishes over time. And then, now these were all the same children, same exact children. Then at age 25 and over, 200,000 Americans were given the study. And the results were 2% at genius level. And this is what happens. And I heard this story. It's kind of a joke about how professors, if you ever see them in a party, they have no rhythm. Because in school, you start as a kindergartner learning from your toe or your body, and then you move on up here, and then as you go through college and in high school, you educate your mind. And so this joke went like their bodies are transports for their minds when you go through school. And we have to learn to educate children's whole beings and not just their heads.